Hey everybody, good evening Tonight is Friday, February 6th, and this is Confessing Baptist Podcast, the Dunker Bunker, your weekly source for all things 1689er. I am your host this evening, Junior Duran, and with me, as always, is my great co-host.
Jason Delgado.
Okay, everybody, let's get started. You know what, Jason, before you get started,
Yep.
I was thinking that, well, first of all, ask me what I'm doing tomorrow.
What are you doing tomorrow, Junior?
Oh,
Saturday.
Saturday? I'm
Yes.
working.
Oh, bummer.
And
Bummer.
I was thinking it's just temporary, we're going through change at work, and so we'll be working a lot of not overtime, earning comp time.
Ah.
Now everything will be done short, and I was thinking, I know it's temporary, but it's like a 2 or 3 year temporary. You know what I mean? Like it won't last forever,
Ooh.
but it'll last like 2 or 3 years.
Yes.
And so I was thinking, I would make a terrible Jew. Remember, you're out there in the wilderness for 40 years, man. 40 years. I'm like, come on, Mo.
Wow. Come on, Mo. Wow. Yeah, you'd be
Get me
the
out of here.
typical complaining Israelite there.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to interject that. Go ahead. But go ahead.
Wow.
But
Wow.
go
Wow.
the ahead.
Yes. Well, let's get on with the news. First in the news, Kettering issue number 2 is now out. That's the newsletter for the Andrew Fuller Center for Baptist Studies. Dustin Bruce fills us in on it. He writes the latest issue of Kettering. Did I say Kettering earlier? Of Kettering,
No,
a
you said
newsletter.
Kettering. You said
I
Kettering.
know.
Yeah.
Okay.
You've
A
never said
newsletter for the
Kettering.
Andrew Fuller Center for Baptist Studies is now available for download. In issue number 2, you will find a number of insightful pieces related to Baptist history, including an editorial from Fuller Center director Dr. Michael Haykin and an excerpt from a Fuller sermon entitled The Qualifications and Encouragement of a Faithful Minister. Also, you'll find an article from Haykin on Benjamin Davies and another by Dr. Steve Weaver on the subject of Baptists as Puritans. That one sounds interesting.
Mm,
A number of book
yep.
reviews as well as coverage of the most recent Andrew Fuller conference, which that happened several months ago. So it's available to download. We linked to it as well. It's a 30-page PDF, and they're doing a great job. I've yet to dip into it, but I need to put that on my phone because that's usually how I read PDFs. For some reason, I
Okay.
like them best on phone. Don't know why, but there you go.
So speaking of Baptists as Puritans, I've
Ah,
been reading the Tale of Two Associations by Dr. Jim Renahan, and
oh,
I was wondering if the English monarchy, English government, English English clergy, the Anglicans, have ever apologized to nonconformists for the persecution. We're just throwing that out there. I wonder if that's ever happened. That'd be cool if they did. To
yeah,
acknowledge that, hey, we messed up.
yeah. I don't know.
Moving on in the news. This is cool, man. Chris Arnzen's Iron Sharpens Iron radio show. Now, if you're old like me, you've been around, you know what that is. The radio show archive. It was a radio show. It was on the air on the East Coast, Northeast Coast, and where the Yankees are. And now the show has gone off the air for a long time. But it was great. Really good Reformed Baptist radio interview program. I remember when he had Dr. Sam Waldron on there. James White has been on there, and he's hosted. He's not hosted. He's moderated debates. Chris Arnzen and sorry. Let me read. So anyway, I'm rambling. So anyway, a while back, I'm gonna read the script. A while back, Chris Arnzen mentioned that the Iron Sharpens Iron radio show MP3s were going offline, and that came to pass. But thankfully, Brandon Adams, of course, from 1689federalism.com, has downloaded and made them accessible to all via public Dropbox folder, which you can access here. And then we have the link there. So what is Iron Sharpens Iron? And James Swan describes it. If you're weary of typical fluffy Christian radio broadcast, you'll find Iron Sharpens Iron addresses a multitude of topics from a distinctly Reformed Christian worldview. Chris asks the right questions, presents guests who have the answers, and continually challenges Christians to apply their faith to every aspect of their lives. And so Chris himself has got a quote from Chris Arnzen from the Reformed Baptist discussion list. Please pray that I can overcome a couple of financial hurdles in order to get Iron Sharpens Iron back on the air soon. A network is interested in relaunching it when Chris is ready. And just to let you all know, Chris is just he's just the best host you can possibly have. Do you want to throw anything in there, Jason?
No, yeah, I remember you introduced that to me a super long time ago, and I
Right.
remember I think I replied back like, "Wait, is this the right show?" Because for some reason
Oh yeah,
the first 5 minutes of the show every time
at
or
least
so
minimum. Yeah,
would be in Spanish, and it was just
yeah.
and I would get so frustrated. I was like, why can't when he puts the MP3, he's like, why can't he just cut it? Why can't he just cut that part out? Why does he leave that in there? But I guess it was on like the 30-minute mark or on the top of the hour, so it just got recorded
Right.
from that point to the next hour or whatever.
That's
Yeah,
right.
it's really funny though. So when you listen to the MP3s, don't be confused if you hear 3-5 minutes of Spanish before that. So
Yeah.
to some of us it is an unknown tongue, but yeah, we'll let that one slide this time. Yeah, no. If he
But
gets it back in the air, that would be amazing. Because yeah, you're right. He's a great host. Yeah, and he had so many great interviews and just
and that's one of
super cool
two
guy.
two Reformed Baptist podcasts that have gone off the air. The other one, of course, was Gene Cook's Unchained radio program. That's the other one that's gone off the air. And I'm not sure if those archives are online either. Um,
I
have you
I,
been back lately? Have you been back lately?
I haven't tried
'Cause
lately. Yeah.
yeah, to try it again. I can listen to anything, but the blog is there. But
Oh, yeah. No.
um,
You're right. You're right. The blog's there, but if you click on any of the MP3s,
yeah,
they're all gone.
yeah,
So.
yeah,
Yep. Yeah. So thanks to Brandon for saving these because
absolutely.
they did wind up going offline and whatnot. So,
Yeah,
híjole. But the blog, his blog is still up. You know, the same thing. The MP3s don't work, but the blog's still up. So if you want to kind of
okay.
match the blog dates to the file dates in the Dropbox folder, you can figure out what the show's talking about because there's a
Right.
lot. You need to put out a lot of stuff. But anyways, there's a lot of upcoming events. We're just going to mention two new ones that we posted this week, both family camps, and then kind of give a quick run through of some of
Okay.
the upcoming events coming up in February. So I'll start with this family camp, and then I'll let you mention the next one. One of the first ones we posted was the Reformed Baptist Family Conference. That's July 28th through the 31st, 2015. It's going to be featuring Tom Nettles, Jim Savastio, Austin Walker, and Aaron Hoke and Tim Hoke. And that's going to be in Louisville, Kentucky. It's actually going to be on the campus of the Southern Baptist Theological Seminary there in Louisville, Kentucky. Again, we link to the registration, the schedule for Green Last Questions and whatnot. And that's a conference that's been going on for a very long time. It's always excellent stuff. We always post the audio, which is always excellent stuff. Of course, there's nothing like actually going to it. So check it out.
Right.
If you're in that area, Louisville, Kentucky, you'll definitely want to check that out.
Okay, that was July 28th and 31st. And so coming up in March, a little sooner, March 26th and 28th, is the Reformed Baptist Family Camp in Palestine, Texas, which I think is pretty close to us.
Yeah.
Is that considered Metroplex E?
No,
Metroplex-ish?
if I recall, I went to this last year and it was in the same
Oh, yeah?
location. Yeah,
Okay.
excellent family camp. My kids talk about it all the time, and I'm gonna be we're already sad because we're probably going to be out of town, so we're not going to be able to make
Okay.
this one. I want to say it was like an hour and a half to 2 hours away, but
Okay.
yeah. Anyways,
Close enough.
yeah. Oh,
DFW. But yeah, this is called God's Strange Work in Afflictions, and it features Pastor Steve Martin from the CVBBS blog.
yeah. Your book
Uh,
servant.
yeah, yes, he does a lot of great book reviews for us and book quotes, and so he'll be speaking. So this is Heritage Baptist Church's 9th annual Reformed Baptist Family Camp. Again, March 26th to the 28th in Palestine, Texas, with Pastor Steve Martin.
Yep, and just
Maybe
to
his blog.
what's that?
What's the name of his blog? Is it like Tolo Lege? Is that the name of his blog?
I think so. Yeah, or yeah, it's like something like that. But then the title is the Pastor's College or something like that, or
Yeah. Law
yeah.
College.
Yeah, there you go, Law College. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
To remind you all of some upcoming events we haven't mentioned in a long time in February. Today was actually the Legacy of the Andrew Fuller mini conference that they had. The audio should be up later, but that's because today was Andrew Fuller's birthday. So happy birthday for that. In the Twitter feed that I always put at the bottom of the post, I'll link to some pictures that were taken of that little mini one-day conference. February 19th through the 22nd, Family Life in the Local Church, a biblically balanced perspective on church-integrated family life. That's the True Church Conference, and that's going to feature the 689ers such as Ted Tripp, Barry King, and then some other fine fellows will be there as well. That's in Muscle Shoals, Alabama. I've been at that a couple of years ago, and that's a great conference as well. February 20th. Here's one that we didn't do a post on because you can't go to unless you go to the entire conference. But just to make you all aware, February 20th at 6:30 p.m. is the theonomy debate between Joel McDermott and J.D. Hall, and the debate is Mosaic civil laws are obligatory for civil governments today. So I hope they make that audio available. Usually those guys put their stuff out later on American Vision, and it costs like $20, so it's not that easy to get a hold of. I'm hoping it's a little easier to access, but who knows? They have the right to charge, you know. Bodhi Bakum Ministries Israel Tour is coming up February 21st through March 4th, and you know what's funny is 2 or 3 times I've gotten calls about that, asking me, is this Bodhi Bakum Ministries? Can like my personal cell phone, not the well, the other one doesn't even take calls, the Baptibot one or whatever.
Okay.
I don't know how my number got mixed up with that, but I've gotten several calls.
That's
and
funny.
I go, okay, you know, I don't do that, but hold on. And all I do is go to the website, look at the number it says to call, and then I give them that. So it's been really weird. That's happened. That's never happened.
Well, I think they should give you VBM should give you a free trip, you and your family there.
That's what I'm talking about, dude. Yeah. And then lastly, wanted to remind you all, February 24th to 25th is the call to proclaim His Excellencies. That's the Southern Baptist Founders Conference Midwest, and that's featuring Tom Nettles in St. Peter's. And you can check that out as well if you're in that area. Definitely don't want to miss that. But that brings us to books.
All right, the books. So first up, we have a special deal, Kindle deal for $2.99 or £1.78. To the Ends of the Earth: Calvin's Missional Vision and Legacy by Dr. Michael Haykin and Jeff Robinson. And I was just listening to the latest Divine Line that was what do they call that? Radio Free Geneva.
Yeah.
And they were talking, and Dr. White just saying, Calvinists were the first missionaries, and here's a good example. There's so much. Did you listen to that Radio Free Geneva?
I'm actually behind on my podcast because I've been I bumped up some books in front of it.
That's
so
cool.
Yep, some books for our podcast though. So
okay, all right, excellent. So check this out again. This is just a Kindle deal. This book has been out already for a while, but it's a good price on Kindle. It's 146 pages, published by Crossway, and again, text to speech enabled, which is
Yeah, love that. So, also now available on Kindle, and anytime RBAT puts out a book, the first comment we always see or reply we get on Twitter is, "Oh, is it going to be on Kindle?"
Right.
And thankfully, this one is out on Kindle. I know some people who only read stuff on Kindle now, which I know, but then I know other people who are like only read stuff on books. So there's definitely the two extremes and balance in the middle. But anyways. Theology, we've talked about that for so long. You all should know about it, and if you don't have it yet, then it is available on Kindle if you've been waiting for that. $9.99 or £6 if you are in an area that uses that. So check that out if that interests you.
And that's 528 pages in book form. That's a lot of pages, man.
That is a lot of pages, and it's all such good stuff. I'm up. I think I'm up to like chapter 4 on that. I've been kind of going back and forth with other books. Other books kind of get bumped up. But man, it's been a really good book so far. So.
All right, and then we told you about this book already. It's the importance of it's just a what do they call that in the back of the books? What do they call it? Endorsement. Well, this is endorsement.
This is actually Tom Chantry's book review of God Without Passion's a reader. But what it wound up turning into, it has a lot of aspects to it, and what we highlighted was just kind of more newsy stuff about ARPGA and why it's important.
Right, but yeah, so the book just came out, God Without Passion's a Reader, and we'll talk about the interview later on. Well, Jason, want to talk about the interview
now? We can. Do you want to read out this little section here?
Do I? I'll read the bottom. No pastor or elder who is going to participate in the way discussions at the ARPGA General Assembly ought to do so without familiarizing himself or herself.
Wow.
with the context and thought of our confession. Now that this anthology is available, the failure to do so would be inexcusable, or as Princess Bride would say, inconceivable.
Inconceivable.
Right? I believe, Tom Chantry continues, though, that the subject matter is of great importance beyond this one denominational concern. The multiple recommendations from Reformed and Presbyterian scholars suggest that I am not alone. So just the value and the importance of this God Without Passions reader.
Indeed.
Inconceivable. Yeah.
Inconceivable. Yes, that does bring us to our audios and videos. And the first one we bring up here is the interview that we had with Sam Renihan. And if you haven't heard it yet, it is episode 78 of our interview podcast. And we get into the new book, which we talked about, God Without Passions, a reader. We get into what does God Without Passions mean? What is divine impassibility? We really wind up getting into a lot more than what the book, really than just talking about the book. We dive into the book, and Sam gives us a really helpful overview on how to, regarding hermeneutics, theology proper, things like that. How he helps us out on how we could read this reader. And we even get into some questions on the typical objections that come up when you're dealing with the question of God having no passions. Like, well, doesn't the Bible say he has things like anger and wrath and love and things that are seemingly passions? Then what does that mean? Does it mean anything even? Are these things true? Is it analogical language, so forth and so on. So, and then how that relates to other doctrines. So, so check it out. It also has a lot of metal. So if you're into
metal, have metal.
If you're not into metal, Sam picked the music. So it's funny.
So
I said that in the intro, so that way we didn't get any emails about music. So
I know.
So far we have it. It's worked.
Email him.
That's right.
Sam.Renihan But I want to have two comments on this interview, Jason Delgado.
Bust it.
Number one, I disagree with Sam Renihan.
On what?
And I agree with Jason Delgado.
What? On what? What are you talking about?
Anthropopathism.
Anthropopathisms, yeah. Thank you.
Not paphathism. What?
Anthropopathisms. What?
What?
You weird,
I know.
Weird Californians. It's got to be some California thing or something.
He's a Southern California surfer boy. I know.
Yeah. When he first said it, I was like, wait. What was that word?
Wait, what?
Like, oh, wait. Was that just anthropopathisms? Yeah.
Did you mean Dr. Renihan? Did you just mean?
What you meant to say was anthropopathism.
Yeah. And the second comment was just about the okay. So this is the 78th interview, and it was 77 minutes long, dude. Come on, bro. That's a lot of time.
Yes, it was a long one. There was really no good spot to split it, though.
Okay, that's true. That's true.
Like the Pipa interview, there was a clear this section he's talking about worship. The other section he's talking about himself and random stuff. And then we threw in the fun stuff at the end. But yeah. Sometimes I just.
Thanks for bringing that up. For our listeners at the end of this podcast tonight about the Pipa interview. Okay,
yes.
Cool. All right. So moving on with the audio.
But more on California people.
This is what I call good. This is gospel stuff right here.
Oh.
And so the 2012 Southern California Reformed Baptist Pastors Conference audio is now online. It features Sam Waldron, Dr. Jim Renihan, Dr. Richard Barcelos, and that audio is now available. I do the you know which one I listen to first, right? Dr. Renihan's on the confession.
Consequences?
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Oh, well, here they are. Right. I'm gonna read them to you guys. I'm sorry. Yeah. There's like 8 lectures, right? First, Dr. Sam Waldron, Theology is Sacred Character. Number 2, Dr. Sam Waldron again, Theology, its Definition, Presuppositions, and Division. 3, Dr. Sam Waldron, Systematic Theology, its Idea, Relationships, and Organizational Method. 4, Dr. Sam Waldron, Systematic Theology, its Legitimate Necessity. 5, Dr. Richard Barcelos, an exegetical case study in doxological trajectory of the canon, part 1, and then part 2 again on lecture number 6. And then number 7, Dr. Jim Renihan, Person and Place, 2 Problems with Biblicism, which I always love that kind of stuff. And then number 8, Dr. Jim Renihan, Good and Necessary Consequence, or necessarily contained. And so what Dr. Renahan answers is the objection by some Palo Baptists that because we removed their verbiage, that we disagree with their meaning. And what he proves is that that's not the case. And so read the book, which has been released. This whole conference has been released in book form from RBAP, and listen to the audio. And I think the book form has more in it because it's the actual notes, whereas in the lecture, Dr. Renahan is kind of speaking through things, so you can kind of hear him skipping over stuff. But yeah, it's really good. He does recommend. He recommends Dr. Waldron on the confession, and he recommends Ryan McGraw's piece on the good and necessary consequence, that little booklet.
Wait, so your understanding of that was that he was saying good and necessary consequence is the same as the way our confession says it necessarily contained?
I think ours is more better. Mo better.
Right.
Mo better. Yeah. That's what I got from Dr. Renahan.
Well, it's better, so therefore it's not the same. It's not an exact.
Well, it's not different. I mean, we don't reject it. You know what I mean? Like we don't reject the idea that
that there are doctrines necessarily contained that aren't explicit.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
the Trinity, for example, things like that. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I understood, and I've heard him teach.
I think language is better. Our language is better.
Yeah,
but that doesn't mean we reject. Yeah.
I think it is more precise, and I think, from what I understand, one of the reasons the Baptists did that was to because of their view of paedobaptism and how they think that the paedobaptists came to some of those conclusions. Was that it was more like, oh, it's a good consequence. Like there's a difference between a good consequence and a necessary consequence. And they would say, well, the only things you can make out of doctrines out of it has to be necessarily contained. It has to be there. It can't just be like, oh, well, this seems good. Like it can't. It's got to be more than that. So I mean,
right.
We're greatly simplifying that. You should definitely listen to it.
Yeah, it's over an hour long. But so listen to it, and then I recommend getting the book as well, because then you'll have the footnotes and everything, and it's a little bit longer. Because again, he had to speed through some of those presentations.
Yep. Excellent stuff. Also, the G3 conference, which happened last month, they just posted all of the video yesterday. The title of it is "The Bible is the Word of God." 2015 G3 conference. There's like 14 different sessions. I'm just going to mention the ones that, as we always say, are of particular interest. James White, Unashamed of Inerrancy, Jesus' plain, unquestionable teaching on the authority of Scripture. Bodhi Baucham, Expository Apologetics, and he did a part 1 and a part 2. And as we've talked about before, that's an upcoming book, and I'm sure he seems like he's been talking on that topic a lot at different conferences he's been at. And another one by James White, Harmonization Isn't for Wimps. Allowing ancient texts to speak for themselves is hard work. And the little preview they have of it, he's obviously going through the harmonization of the Gospels. So, which I know he's preached at his church for years and years and years, doing that. So, you can check that out.
I wonder, is this the conference that James White said that Mormons were there? Remember? Do you remember that?
Yes, it was.
Is this the one?
It was that same church. So they had the conference, and then it ended on Saturday or something, and then Sunday was that. So yeah, it was that one. Yes, yeah, Georgia. That's where his grandchild lives, and that's where they attend.
Oh, that's right.
And yeah, Todd Frill, of Wretched Radio, he goes there too, and all that stuff. So
that's cool.
You want to jump into the opinions next?
Yes. Tom Chadley is hilarious, man. I love this guy's sense of humor. What's it like to have him as your pastor? You know what I mean? Like, this guy is crazy. It's like what's it like to have Marcellus as your pastor? You know what I mean?
Wow.
We just see that one side of them. We don't see the pastoral side. You know what I mean? We don't see that nice, Sunday morning. Anyway, on the opinions, the Palo Baptists have found their Victoria Jackson, Tom Chadley on Lee Gaddis's recent Reformation 21 post. And so Tom says, Lee Gaddis heard some talk about John Owen's promotion of a Baptistic form of covenant theology, and he is very, very concerned to let us know that John Owen was drum roll please, not a Baptist. And so it's really good. I said Tom Chatri's posts are really good, and really just really good. He's a funny guy. He also wrote a follow up called "Judging a Book by Part of Its Cover," which is just as good. So hopefully you all subscribe to his feed.
Yeah, and
on a related note,
it's funny because these posts happened last Friday. We usually do the podcast on Thursdays, and then this happened. Well, the post happened Thursday because we mentioned it last Thursday or whatever. But then there started being some responses, and it's funny because I guess in the internet world stuff happens so fast. Like this seems older than just 7 days. Like it hasn't even been 7 days. It seems old. It's weird. So I'm just like, man, is this updated? This seems really old. But anyways, Brandon Adams also had a response, and it was actually the response that after Pascal read it, he's like, oh, I was going to respond, but Brandon pretty much said it. So he gets into Owen and things like that, and Brandon's done a lot. And we've talked about this with Pascal Leno before, so I don't think it'll be anything new if you've been following us for a while. But it's documented there. There's a lot of stuff you can check out, and you can just it's just helping clear up some of the misunderstandings and saying, hey, let's not just deal with straw men. Here's what we're saying, here's what we're not saying. So just FYI, but we're Baptists, so I guess get used to it. As Junior always says.
This next one is from Jasmine Holmes, and you know what? In our script, I had pictures, and there's some really good pictures on this post. But this is from Jasmine Holmes. I love children. Well, the title is "My Baby's Heart Stopped Beating: Mother's Story of Loss and Hope." And Jasmine Holmes writes, "I love children. I grew up around them. I teach them. I want a household full of them. I couldn't wait to be a mother. I couldn't wait to care for my own child. But now my child was dead. I felt like the psalmist. What profit is my death if I go down to the pit? Will the dust praise me? Will it tell of your faithfulness?" That's from Psalm 30, verse 9. Sometimes we cannot help but ask, God, what are you doing? And we had that. That's one post. And then on that same article we wrote, we copied a link to a post by Jasmine again and Philip Holmes. Jasmine is the wife, author, and foodie. Also the daughter of Vodi Bakum. She holds a BA in English Lit and serves as a 5th grade teacher at a classical university model school. She and her husband Philip is the executive assistant to Dr. Vodi Bakum, and they live in Houston.
Yeah, that was.
You want to say something about that? Yeah.
No, I was going to say that it's obviously just given the title that is a heavy post, but one of those things that is necessary to deal with in life. So, really good stuff from Vodi Bakum's daughter there. Also, we had posted the how A.W. Pink showed that we should have family worship. And this was the second article in the first chapter of A Theology of the Family. It looks like those guys are going to be posting a lot from the first chapter there. And this is what they posted this week. I'm just going to give you a little blurb from A.W. Pink. He writes, "There are some very important outward ordinances and means of grace that are plainly implied in the Word of God, for the exercise of which we have few, if any, plain and positive precepts. Rather, are we left to gather them from the examples of holy men and from various incidental circumstances. An important end in answering by this arrangement, trial is thereby made of the state of our hearts. It serves to make evident whether, because an express command cannot be brought requiring its performance, professing Christians will neglect a duty plainly implied. Thus more the real estate of our minds is discovered, and it is made manifest whether we have or have not an ardent love for God and His service. This holds good both of public and family worship. Nevertheless, it is not difficult to prove the obligation of domestic piety. And piety there just meaning worship and godliness. So that's an HTML format or PDF, so you can check that out. It's just a couple pages long. And it's a pretty interesting point because we were talking earlier about necessary consequences and whatnot, and obviously A.W. Pink is that's where he's getting his doctrine of family worship from is stuff necessarily contained, if you will, I guess. So you can read that. He goes into detail on that, and so you can check that out.
Cool. And then coming up next, Tom Assels on Church Splits, and this is a column he had in the February, which is this month. Jason, January's gone. Jason, do you know that? It's gone.
Yeah, I don't even know what
down.
happened to it. Oh no, I have no idea what happened.
It'll be December pretty soon. So this is from Tabletop Magazine, which is R.C. Sproul's magazine, Ligonier Mysteries, right? Now I'll just read two paragraphs for you as soon as. Dude, does your thing keep refreshing? Because mine does.
No, it doesn't. No.
Is it just
I guess so. Yeah. I don't know.
okay? So again, this is not church splits. The simple severing of relationships always breeds betrayal and disillusionment. In a church where members relate to each other as interdependent components of one body, the pain caused by schism can also give rise to mistrust and cynicism. Two emotional beings that, if not uprooted, will prevent the kind of love and vulnerability that are essential to genuine gospel fellowship. When the church splits, many people are inevitably hurt by sinful attitudes and actions. On such occasions, we must remember that our Master knows what this is like and has shown us how to respond. As those who have been forgiven, we must forgive. Those who may have participated in sin, we must repent, remembering that this is precisely why Jesus died. And that's from Table Talk Magazine, Dr. Tom Ascol. So read that. That's good. That was good.
Yep, good stuff. That brings us to the Baptibots.
Wait, that's Star Wars.
That's Star Wars, yeah. Da, 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 da. Anyways, I'll begin real quick with the podcast that happened this week. Not very many. First was The Debasement of Religious Worship, Part 2. And this was an episode of Standing Firm with Pastor James Brown Jr., where he discusses the regulative principle of worship as he continues his series on the debasement of religious worship. And then there were two dividing lines this week. The first on Roman Catholicism, and James White covered Catholic Answers and Purgatory, William Lane Craig, and Original Sin, Ravi Zacharias, and Witnessing to Roman Catholics. And then he talked a little more about Purgatory with a clip from a famous debate in the past. That was a really good show. I hadn't listened to the Thursday one. I know Junior has, but that was a Radio Free Geneva, and Radio Free Genevas are always a blast. So
yes.
Yep, and so here James White plays some clips of Jason Wallace debating Sean McCraney, and then he begins his review of Dr. Eric Haken's lecture on unconditional election. That sounds like that sounds like that's just classic Radio Free Geneva material right there.
Oh yeah. And going on to the Baptibot Post, and we have brought from Brian Mann at Catherine Lake Baptist Church, Neo-Evangelicalism Losing Their Minds on the Creation Account. And again, like as Jason said earlier, just came out last week, and it seems like it's an eternity ago. You know what I mean? But it was a good post. It was short and it was good. If you don't remember what that was that Justin Taylor at the Gospel Coalition?
Yep.
Yeah. So it was a short, quick post. Again, neo-evangelicals losing their mind. Steve Martin, who we just talked about at the family conference, CVBBS blog, pursue holiness, without which no one will see the Lord. This is part 3, so it's a series on that one. Dr. Gabriel Williams over at Cradle Covenant Fellowship, continuing on his series on contingency, complexity, and the existence of God. So again, you need to read that. John Yoder at Hope Reformed Baptist Church, Children in Worship, which is odd for a Baptist, some might say, I think.
Baptists care about children? I thought they don't.
I know, right? They didn't care.
That's weird.
Thabiti Anyabwile at the Gospel Coalition. This is another part of a series, Letters to a Young Protester. This is on racists. This is, again, a series. I think it's the 7th one in his series. And then finally we have, again, this is just roundup, so there's plenty of other stuff out there. We're just picking some highlights from the week. Reformed Baptista is continuing that series on the women behind the 1689, and this last post was on Mrs. Gifford. So I love that series on the women behind 1689. There you go, Jay.
Yeah, that is a super cool series. As far as some Twitter highlights, I got some pictures I'm going to be sharing from Jeremy Walker. He was at a pastor's conference in Cabano Reformed Baptist Church, which is in Cabano in Metro Manila. That's in the Philippines. And it's pretty cool because there was over 300 in attendance, and it seems like it was 3 or 4 days worth of stuff. So that's always really exciting. This week also at the Desiring God conference, Conrad Mabewe was one of the speakers there, and so there's some cool pictures from him with some of the quotes that he gave. Al Mohler posted some cool pictures too on Instagram. The original text of the Southern Baptist Theological Seminary Abstract of Principles in the hand of Basil Manley Jr. That's from 1859. He took some pictures of that, and he also took pictures of the first 5 signatures of Southern Seminary's Confession of Faith, the Abstract of Principles. And yeah, like just looking at it, I can recognize the names of James P. Boyce, Broadus, Manley Jr. The other 2 guys, I can't make out who they are. Crawford something, I should know who that is.
Oh,
Crawford
RBC
Howell. It looks like
Crawford Howell. RBC Howell, yeah.
Yeah, so that's really cool. Just kind of nerdy old pictures. I love that kind of stuff. Eric, okay, wait. You say Eric's name because I can never get it right.
Ayala.
Eric Ayala. There you go. That's not so hard to say. Why can't I do that? Eric.
I don't know.
Well, it's because I look at it and the letters.
Yeah, don't look at it.
Don't look at it. Don't look at it.
It's like Anya Bule. I don't look at that.
There you go.
I don't look at that. Yeah.
Yeah. Eric, whose last name shall not be pronounced by me anymore. He. The last show with Pipa, we mentioned the dog collar, and he said something like on Twitter, like, "Oh man, I'd give anything to see."
Yes.
Pascal in a dog collar, and then Pascal just goes, "Wait for it," and then all of a sudden there's a picture of Pascal with the clerical dog collar type stuff, and it's really funny. So I'll post pictures of that in that conversation up there. Also, like I said earlier, there'll be some pictures of the Andrew Fuller little one-day mini legacy conference, as today was Andrew Fuller's birthday. And you can see the last remains of Andrew Fuller on his 261th birthday. There's a cake they printed with his face on it, and it's pretty funny. And the last one I'll be sharing is this one from Mark Nenadov. He writes, "This emergent beard," and then it's a picture of his chin with emerging beard hair coming out. It says, "This emergent beard will go bombless thanks to the anti-Canadian policies of the Confessing Baptist." And what he's talking about there is our giveaway. It was U.S. only.
Yeah.
And that's because we don't have that much money. So sorry. It's not, and like I respond, I was like, it's not just we're anti-Canada, we're anti-Hawaii and Alaska, even some of our own states, and the rest of the world. So we're anti all y'all. Just. But anyways, that does bring us to our winners. So what I'm going to do, since I'm not in the same room as Junior, I'm going to share my screen so he could see who I'm picking. I never like picking winners when I'm on my own here. Manage entries, share. Okay, Junior, you should be able to see my screen now, right?
Oh, cool.
So pick winners. You like that? Technology at its finest. All right, add a random winner, clicking it. And we have Brant Gillihan. Nice. I'll email them later. Let's see, add another random winner. And we have Billy Linhart. Nice. He's gonna dig that.
Which one did he want? What did he want?
I think he wanted the beard wax, but I'll check the comments. The beard balm, yes, my bad. And next we have Trey Jadlow.
Yep, Trey Jadlow.
That name sounds really familiar.
He's on Twitter.
Is he? Well, yeah. Okay, and fourth, Rick Wiley. So congrats,
Rick Wiley. Yes.
Rick Wiley. I'm glad to see that. Well, you know what? Some women did sign. I was jokingly saying I'm glad to see no women, because they don't want to show off their beard or whatever. But there were some women that signed up to get some stuff for their husband. So congratulations, y'all. We'll be emailing y'all shortly after this. And you can tell us what you want. Well, you should say it in the comments. So hopefully it works out to where y'all get what you wanted, because we just have 2 of each. But yeah, we should also say thanks for 689 Beard Balm, right, for sponsoring their giveaway.
Scott Anderson at 1689 Beard Balm. Thank you so much for helping us out and participating with us. And thanks to Dr. Pipa for recommending his blend, and to Butter Pipes. So you all be getting that soon.
Yeah. So as soon as y'all get that, let me just encourage y'all to just try it out and then give it a review. Show some love for getting some
absolutely, yeah.
Stuff. So cool stuff. Well, I think that's all we got for today, right, Junior?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, you can contact us, email, Facebook, Google+, all the goods. ConfessingBaptist.com is how you can find that. If you have any questions, there have been several questions sent to us, and things just got busy for me, and I didn't get around to doing them. I have a backlog of several Ask a Reformed Baptist questions. Hopefully, when there's a less busy week, we'll bring some of those up.
Right.
Right. But yeah, it never seems like there is. So
I know.
We'll see. But anyways, if you have questions or you want to text or just leave a voicemail, you can do that at 512.
It's a good problem. it's a good problem to have, though. You
Good
know.
problem to have. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
512 the 1689. Again, we're on all the social medias and you can contact us like that. So thank you guys. Like seriously, thank you all a lot for all the
Yeah.
stuff you send in. And I mean, probably a quarter of the posts this week were from direct emails we got on our contact page. So thanks, guys. And it is. I'll say this too. It's a lot easier. Some people, when they send them in, they pretty much write it up like, oh, this event's located here. It's got this guy. Like it's not just a link, which is fine if you just send a link like, oh, here, FY about this. But when you write it out like in post form, it'll probably get up 100% faster. So
Faster. Yeah.
yeah.
Just saying.
Just saying. Not trying to put the pressure on, but if you want to make my life easier, and I'll love you for that. So, anyways, but that's all. So see y'all. Peace.
Yeah. Ditto.